Next up in Chapter 10 of the phase, having just covered the 4 basic techniques for obtaining information in the phase or a lucid dream, in this video we'll be talking about how to ensure that the information that you do get is as accurate as possible. And so he writes, there is no guarantee that the information received is going to always be accurate, right? And later on in this chapter, he actually puts a percentage to it where he says, like, for a novice, anywhere from 20 to 40% of the information received you can expect to be accurate. But then as you get more experience with the practice, you get more used to seeking out information within the phase, then that can bump up to being like 70+% accurate, because there are a lot of things that can kind of get in the way and muck shit up. All right, and so the first tip here, I should also say that most of these tips they're taken more from the perspective of finding a dream character within the phase and asking them your questions versus, like, say, seeing the answer to your question written on a book or something. So it's always good to start off with a control question, right? Something simple, right? Like, how old am I? What's 2 times 2? What's my name? Where do I live? And see if the dream character can answer that correctly. Because if they cannot, then that really, decreases the likelihood of them actually being able to give you good information on the big question that you do want to ask them. If they don't know the answer, they should either stay silent or, better yet, tell you that they don't know. It's also good to follow up with clarifying questions. A good example of one is, you find your dream character, you ask them your big question, they give you an answer, then you can follow that up with something like, where did you get this information from? And then also, as you get more of this kind of background info on where they got the info, that can give you more avenues to, when you return to the waking world, to kind of search it out and see if the information you got was indeed accurate. It's also important to spend some time on really trying to craft your question as perfectly as you can, right? You want it to be simple and specific. And so he has a few examples in here. So say if you wanted to get more money at work, you wanted to get a raise or something. Instead of asking the dream, how do I get a raise at work? You can ask the dream, how can I make my current project as successful as possible? Or say if you've been dealing with a lot of headaches lately, instead of asking the dream, how can I get more healthy? You can ask the dream, how do I get rid of my headaches, right? And then lastly here, the internal mental background of the practitioner, the current mood they're in, their thoughts, beliefs, and doubts on things. That's going to play a humongous role in all of dream work, but it definitely plays a big role in information seeking as well. And he also writes this: one must be not only externally, but also internally as indifferent as possible to the information one obtains. In parallel with this, it is necessary to have full and complete confidence that everything will work. Otherwise, the object will vacillate between what one wants to hear and what one is afraid to hear, instead of a simple transmission of information occurring. This problem is overcome in large measure through practice, but there are a few tricks. The simplest is as follows. The practitioner asks the object his question neither point blank nor right away, but unexpectedly during conversation on a side topic. And I actually think I brought that up in the last video as well, but that really is a good approach to take with it. And with that said, I think we'll wrap it up there because we got a kind of long section coming up next. So yeah, with that said, that'll wrap it up. Until the next video, keep your phase practice legit.